Hello, everyone, and welcome to Patriot Crusader Missions Christian Warrior Talk, Strength and Honor Edition. It's Friday. We made it through another week. There's a ton of news and stories and stuff to go over. And Lauren, if you're watching this, bring in a towel because I've already spilled something. So, gotta love that. Um, Awesome way to start this day. And it goes right with the rest of the week. So it's Friday. You made it. It's time for us to celebrate our victories, pick each other up and dust each other off and learn from our defeats and to come together in true fellowship, not cake and coffee after church, but to meet everyone at point of contact. So glad you joined it. If you don't know how this goes, grab your favorite beverage. It can be an adult beverage. It can be a non-adult beverage. It can be sweet tea. It can be water. It can be a beer. It can be wine. It can be whatever you want it to be. If you have a drinking problem, AKA you're an alcoholic, AKA you can't make good decisions after having a sip of a beverage, do not drink that type of beverage. Shift to juice or whatever. For everyone else, the 90% of the people out there who do not have a problem, and you're of age and you're following, all the things of your doctors and blah, 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 blah. We are here to celebrate fellowship with one another and have some fun. All right. So the rules, if you're watching, sign off with a strength and honor, and we will hit this.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
You hear that? You have a sip. So let's get started. John.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Steve.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Claudia.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
So, man, what a week. What a 2 weeks. I know a lot of you have not seen me since prior to Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day is pretty heavy for me. We had a ton of work to do, and I was way behind on it all, as I am right now. But, it is what it is. And I decided to take some time and reflect and take care of my family during that last Friday. So forgive me for not being there, but I am back now. If you did not get a chance to see my Sunday Memorial Day service, particularly if you're a vet, go back and watch it. As a bonus, in the front of that, I covered the timeline that we knew at that point of the Uvalde shooting and went over some thoughts on that as well. So there's a lot of information in there in that. And I've never seen a church get a veteran service right. A Memorial Day service right. So I figured I'd try to take a stab at it. And you guys can be the judge on how that went. Status of the farm, we had a bumpy day today with our milk machine broke. We've had it 2 weeks, paid almost $600 with it with tax, and it lasted 2 weeks. So that's going back to Walmart tomorrow. And we had to buy a new $1,450 milk machine that'll hopefully last us way longer than that. But I want to give Lauren a strength and honor, and she's going to be joining me shortly. Baby Anya's acting up, I think. I'm not sure. She can sound off here and let us know if that's what's keeping her. But she was out there, giving it a go at hand milking these cows, and everyone's got their own technique. There's a kinder, gentler way of milking that is is not how I see people draining 5 and 8 gallon milks, gallons of milk out of a cow in 5 minutes. Instead, it's an hour of yeep, yeep, yeep. And Lauren gave it her best, and I'm sure the cows appreciated it. But holy smokes! So they got a little relief. Margot's been yelling at me the whole time I'm outside because she wants us to come milk her again. I'm sure she's about ready to explode again already. But it'll be tomorrow afternoon when I get back with the new milk machine. So again, if anyone ever told you that homesteading was to save money, not even close. Not even close. Maybe someday, but right now it's all blood sucking, heart, soul draining, um, your bank account and your finances and running up your credit cards. That's what homesteading has been for us so far. Now, is it awesome? Yes. Do we love it? Yes. Is it a lot of work? Yes. A lot of work is not a big enough word for it. It's a ton of work. Um, we're hoping as our church community grows, people are going to come here and pitch in around the farm. If not, we're going to have to hire people around the farm. It's just too much work for Lauren and I to do, and we'll have to roll that cost into the things that we're offering. So again, it's just a matter of seeing how things go and adjusting. Our chickens are about, I don't know, I think they're like 2 weeks or less before they're about to start producing eggs, which is awesome. That's pretty much the farm related stuff. I kind of wanted to wait for Lauren to come here to do that, and I was expecting her to be here, but to go in line with the rest of this week, that didn't happen. So, I had an interview today on the Rob Schilling show. Rob's a friend of ours. He's a Christian conservative reporter and has a news show based in our old hometown in Charlottesville. And he called me originally for the, he wanted an expert with when the active shooter broke. And then I regularly scheduled, I go on the first Friday every month from 12:30 to 1. And, we talked today about, all this pushback that we're getting on the Second Amendment. In fact, one of the most reasonable men that I know, who was my old partner in Boston, I won't name him here, but he, he's always been kind of anti-gun, and I've been able to talk to him about it at times and bring him around, but he lives in the secular Northeast, and that seeps into you. And today he's like, hey, nobody needs an AR, or yesterday, nobody needs an AR-15. And I had to remind him what the Second Amendment is for. The Second Amendment isn't for self-defense, guys. The Second Amendment is defense against tyranny. It's so that the government fears its citizenry so that it doesn't go and do a Canada move or an Australia move or a China move. Australia, where they're rounding people up who refuse to get vaccine and throw them into camps, right? Or China, when they lock down a city and starve people to death and have people screaming out the windows and everything else. Or Canada, where literally the police can do whatever they want to and they can't push back and there's no defense. So that is what the Second Amendment was made for. And there's a cost that comes with that. But that's because of the cost, the consequences of not having it is to lose the last free country in the world. Everyone else is freaking sheep. Everyone else is subjects to their state, except for us in America. All of Europe, subjects to their state. Everyone else in the world has no hope of pushing back against their government in any way. Only America had built it into the Constitution that a built-in opponent to the government. That built-in opponent is the citizenry. A well-armed militia, meaning me, you, and everyone else, is to be ready and maintained to be able to push back against tyranny if they try to do something crazy. That's what it's about. And because of that, because the citizenry or an armed citizenry is a direct opponent of the government when it exceeds its authority, they are always going to try to steal that freedom from you because they want to disarm you and they don't want an armed opponent. That is what we are dealing with. So when someone says, oh, why can't we just do these reasonable things? Why does an 18-year-old need an AR-15? And I say, I get really pissed when people try to take away 18-year-olds' rights because 18-year-olds are one of the primary age groups that are in our military defending us now. And they're like, oh, well, we're training them with training and, this whole training thing. We're going to stop active shooters by training people how to shoot more accurately. That's completely crazy. You're just going to make them better shooters, right? There are solutions to this, but training is not one of them. Training the good guys, yes. Training the bad guys, no. So anyways, the Second Amendment is there, and every service member has died to protect it, and the freedoms that we have, freedom of speech, is protected by the Second Amendment. No, Pam, you're in the wrong channel. 1,000% against banning assault rifles. It's not even a term. It doesn't exist. Hey, Linda, good to see you. Christopher, strength and honor.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Linda, to you.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Pam, welcome.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
So, here is the slippery slope. Assault rifles, what people call assault rifles, which is a semi-automatic rifle capable of holding a magazine of more than 10 rounds, right? Which is just about every rifle out there except for bolt-action hunting rifles and some ancient relics out there. But here is the math behind it. Assault rifles account for a small fraction of murders or gun violence in the country. The primary cause of weapon of choice for murderers is a pistol. A pistol is what is used over and over. The stats are, it's easy to conceal. You can get pistols that can hold 50 rounds, with extended magazines, or 25 at a time, or 30 at a time. Handguns are the issue. So here's their play, right? And they're brilliant. They are about chipping away. So what they want to do is this: come in. Let's just ban scary-looking rifles that we won't really define. We'll make up a term called assault rifles and realize that encompasses just about every firearm, so that all of them are illegal and all the magazines that go on them are illegal. And we'll get rid of them. And everyone will be like, oh, that's so reasonable, even though it's completely unreasonable. And then they're like, wait a minute, there was another school shooting and he used pistols, which a lot of them do, right? A lot of them do. And 240 people in Chicago were shot this weekend by pistols. Well, you let us get rid of rifles, so let's get rid of pistols now. And so on and so on and so on, right? If you really want the truth of the matter of Uvalde, he could have went in there with a machete in Uvalde because he chose grade schoolers. Grade schoolers could not resist him, right? He didn't go in and go against people who had the ability to fight back. He picked on little kids. He chose his target to be little kids. He chose a firearm. And the problem with the issue when we come to deal with solutions on this issue is the following. There is no consensus on how we want to handle this. It should be an all the above solution, right? Correct, Christopher. Christopher said, and I'll read this to you. 90% is handgun violence. Then most of those shootings happen during gang-related issues. 100%, which does not. No one ever takes into account the lives saved by firearms. But let's get back to the active shooter. There is no political consensus on how to deal with this, and you have two opposing sides. You have the left, which only wants to uninvent firearms and make them not exist anymore, right? They want to take everyone's guns and they don't want there to be guns, period. That is what they want to do. Anything that solves the problem but that defeats their purpose in wanting to take your firearms, because the left is aligned with the government. They want more power to the government, less power to the people, despite their chants, which are ridiculous. So we're going to talk about that, Pam. So again, they don't want any other issue. I go around and teach at schools, at businesses, at places all around the country. And holy smokes, my screen is going crazy. It must be beverage that I spilled, and I just spilled it again. And I've only had that single one. My keyboard sending tabs everywhere. So I apologize if my screen does something crazy here, but such is it. So here is the deal. The right, unfortunately, the far right only wants to put more guns into the schools. Arm the teachers, arm this and that. And I'm for that. If you want to be armed in the school and you're qualified and you're mentally stable and you want to be a part of the solution, I am for that, right? You have to be able to maintain, you have to have training, you have to be able to make sound decisions under stress, and you have to be psychologically stable to do that, and I am for that. But it's a multifaceted solution. Here's what I want you to think of. A safe school is like a body, right? Hardening a school, which is adding ballistic doors that are resistant to bullets, one-button lockdowns, camera systems, man-trap, doors, lockdown rooms, et cetera, et cetera. That is the bones of your safety program, right? That is the bones of your safety program. Your people and your policies are your cardiovascular system, meaning they're either going to kill it because they don't want to do training, which we're about to get to, or they're going to be your biggest asset, right? Your communication system, whether it's your intercoms, your mass text notifications, whatever communication is your nervous system, right? Training, right? Training everyone, every student and every, adult in there is the brain of a safe school, right? It teaches everyone to think in a different manner and to problem solve in real time under stress. This is a multifaceted approach. On top of legislation for careless gun ownership, people whose guns are handled carelessly, that people steal and go and commit bad things, people, that I'm for. I'm for gun laws for people, enforcing the gun laws that we have instead of letting criminals out who do bad things. All right. I'm for mandating, having safes and or lock boxes or whatever you want to do with firearms, if they're not on your person, right? Again, I think there is a big middle ground on this, but you know, millions upon millions of gun owners did nothing wrong the other day, and now you're coming for their rights, and I don't agree with that. The government sucks at everything they do. They literally suck at everything they do. Everything. Everything. When I get pushback, right? Literally this today, I got from a school that is totally antiquated, that is basically like shooting fish in a barrel. They have no walls, no doors. They're in wide open room, vulnerable people, a terribly designed feng shui school from the 70s. And they said it's not a priority right now, right? It's not a priority. So if it's not a priority, it's not a priority. Let's stop pretending like it is, and let's stop infringing on everyone else's rights when you don't want to stop it by investing in your school. We have so much technology. We spend so much money all around the world helping other nations do crap. Why can't we have safe, beautiful schools? I completely agree with you, Pam, that bullet resistant glass and doors make a lot of sense, and they should be there. We need to start designing schools and buildings to be effective to repel this type of attack. We see we've come with clients who used to, everyone wanted to be like Steve Jobs wannabes, and they all one of these wide open collaboration spaces, which are noisy as heck. You can't even think. And, people saw too many movies and thought that's what work was be. Well, that's a horrible place to have to survive an active shooter or a workplace violent incident. And it's indefensible. So companies now who are forward thinking are back to segregating people and separating them by rooms. Did you get my message to bring in paper towels? Sure. Paper towels and a glass of ice would be great. Thank you. So again, I have, the active shooter industry, which I am, I own Trident Shield, which is a training and consulting company for workplace violence, active shooter and security consulting. I've been doing it since 2013. So it is a heartbreaking thing where you have left-wing people in every company who will shoot down training over and over and over and over again because the only solution they want is to take away everyone's guns. And we got some people to here. Todd, here we go. So to Todd.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
To Tim.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Batteries. So Lauren's coming on here. Bear with us while we get her set up. So, anyways, to have your heart broken time after time and time again, where these kids know nothing, you're watching these teachers, they don't know what they don't know, or even in workplaces, and they're too darn woke to get out of their own darn way, because when you talk, when you do good active shooter training, that person is safe is instantly more prepared for all violence, not just active shooter, whether it be rape, whether it be home invasion, whether. I need batteries. whether it be a mugging, a robbery, anything, they're instantly more prepared because of that. You're muted. Did you turn it on? You just did. I think you just blew everyone's ears out.
Sorry, guys. Can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello.
Yeah, I gotta crank you up again. The mic way closer.
Hello, 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 hello. All sorts of.
Yeah, it's because we're getting all kinds of peeps, but I spilled in my keyboard right away. You really weren't watching. So Tab is going crazy right now all over my thing.
Oh.
So
Gotcha.
Harry Phelps, what's up? Holy smokes.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Can you guys hear me? Go live. Okay, yes, they can.
All right, great. So now you guys got Lauren. You
All right,
get the better
hello.
half.
Hi,
I can
Steve.
scoot over.
Hi, Terry.
All
Hello.
right, awesome.
Hi, John.
So it comes down to, from what everything I've been saying, is that it's got to be a multi-pronged solution, right? It's got to be handled in an adult way because it's a complex problem. If you want to look at guns and you want to say that guns are the problem, guns used to be in our schools a lot more. Kids in the 50s and 60s and 70s, used to bring their rifles to school with them, and they would do marksmanship training in the basement. They would go hunting afterwards. It's been, wow, this thing is really bumming me out.
Is that all because of your spell?
All because of my
Oh,
spill
no.
on my keyboard.
I can see the comments here. Where's your phone?
How's being in the East?
I was being east of Johnson City in Tennessee, working out for you both. It's probably been 5 months since I caught the stream. Looks like you settled in well. Love the shirt.
Thanks. So Johnson City, Tennessee has been God's gift to us. We love it. Everything's great here except for the churches.
That's a long story.
And that's a long story for another day. But
That's one way to do it.
it is beautiful. We love it here. We'd recommend anyone to move here, particularly if you're conservative and you love freedoms. I talk to my friends who are back to wearing masks and lockdowns and doing all kinds of stupid stuff all around the country. And it's been normal here for forever.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell where the Democrats are here because they're the idiots wearing diapers on their face that do absolutely nothing. So,
Pam says, I heard Tennessee is making car camping illegal.
Making what camping?
Car camping.
I don't know what that even is.
I hadn't heard that.
I don't know what car camping is, Pam. If you could get into that, that'd be great. Kids used to train in school. Exactly. So that's the active shooter piece, right? So don't, let these people come in and sit there and say, hey, we need to take guns. We need to do this. And, I never get to finish my 18-year-old comment. 18-year-olds have been saving the world for a very long time in the military. I have a problem that they're not allowed to have a beer, but they can go die for their country. I think that's a freaking travesty. So I was sleeping in car overnight. I don't know why that is, Pam. Is that
a homeless thing?
If it's a homeless thing or if it's a drug thing, I don't know, but I haven't heard that. It hasn't been on my radar. So taking their rights away because one of them in the whole country went crazy doesn't make sense to me.
I'm watching here.
I miss so much with it. I just don't even want to click my keyboard because if I do, it's going to go crazy. With all
Let me
the
see.
tabbing.
Where did you? Chris had a couple comments. 90% is handguns, and most of those shootings happen during gang-related issues. Did you go through all those?
No.
Pam said, well, if they won't make schools more secure, I don't know any other option.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that. So Christopher said, I have said as soon as you join the military, you should be able to drink. 1,000%, Christopher. If you can go take a bullet for the 90%, 95 or the 99% of America who never serve her, and they tell them that they can't drink, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all.
Do you think it should be a privilege for 18-year-olds
Yes,
in the military
yes.
and not
Well,
for
I think
citizens?
Christopher has a great idea that as soon as you turn that way, you should be able to drink.
Mhm.
You know, and trying to take, like, what about 18-year-olds who have families? Someone said, better get a good keyboard before it's back ordered for 3 months and 200% markup.
Yeah.
You got that right, Todd. I got to go order a new one. This one has taken heavies lately because my desk has become a cluttered mess.
Especially if the beer sticks around.
With what?
I said if the beer sticks around.
Yeah, yeah. So, so that's what I wanted to talk about, the firearms issue. And, you know, my mother, who, you know, I love, but she doesn't know me from a hole in the wall sometimes. She sent me this poem, and let me read it to
I can
you.
pull it up here.
Oh, Lauren can read it, and she can read it with her angelic voice.
Okay, my angelic voice. All right. America is a gun. England is a cup of tea. France, a wheel of ripened brie. Greece, a short, squat olive tree. America is a gun. Brazil is a football on the sand. Argentina, Maradona's hand. Germany, an Oompa band. America is a gun. Holland is a wooden shoe. Hungary, a goulash stew. Australia, a kangaroo. America is a gun. Japan is a thermal spring. Scotland is a Highland fling. Oh, better to be anything than America as a gun.
So my mom sent me that thinking that that was like a smart thing to do. And I almost called her up and went off on her, but I can't. She can't help herself.
Well, I almost responded, and thank God for it.
Yeah, you know, exactly. Every one of those countries outside of Japan, which attacked us, that we dropped 2 nukes on, and Germany, which tried to wipe out the world, has come to us for help and called America with their guns to save them, right? So we are the last place of freedom, people. And the biggest tyrant of all and the biggest enemy of all is our government right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it kills me to say that. It kills me to say that. And I fear my government.
Chris said, I'm happy I'm a gun. It has saved us forever.
Yeah. I fear more my government than I fear any other country.
Right now, I'd say that's accurate, yeah.
I think that there is I am far more in danger of my government coming after me than China.
Mm.
Right, or infringing my rights.
Well, at least, I mean, if it was another country that was causing danger, you would know kind of how to handle it. Right now, the countering your own government is a lot more complicated.
Yeah. So anyways, you know, I love my country and I will defend my country, but I would not send my kid to serve in the military today.
No.
It's woke. It's not set up for success. It's become political theater. It's really quite.
John said, I'm also good being a gun. I think most people on chat tonight are very happy to be an American gun. Todd said, so I've seen some of the cops down here be pretty lax and stupid laws, but in these weird times, what are your thoughts on ghost arms in tyrannical times, especially having been a cop?
So ghost arms or guns are firearms without serial numbers, so they can't be traced. That's what they're called. There really is no, like, it's so unwieldy to figure out how to manage that. So right now, Tucker was addressing this the other day, where how would you address the ghost gun issue? Meaning that, you know, they had wrote the bill that any significant part of the firearm would have to have a number on it,
Right.
which is
And
impossible.
how do you classify a significant part? And that's
Yeah.
a very kind of.
So what happens is that all guns become ghost guns, and they're doing it.
Yeah.
So I am not a fan of ghost guns. All right. All right. I am not a fan.
How are you defining ghost gun?
I'm not a fan of having a gun that can't be traced back to me on what I do with. I own every round I pull the trigger on, and I don't have a problem with that.
Mm.
Right?
So these ones that are like kind of the most legitimate version of a ghost gun that do not have the serial number on
Right.
it.
Well, it's building an untraceable firearm or filing off a firearm number so that no one knows where that gun has been, what it's done, or any of those other things. I'm willing to own every bullet I pull, every trigger, or every bullet I send downrange.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Right?
so
So
Todd said, sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. It would be something where you would, quote, store it for if they confiscated it, your legal guns.
well, if they're going to try to confiscate my legal guns, it would be I'm all for countering the tactic that's being used in tyranny, right? So, for example, Todd, if they were coming to take my guns, I'd be all about it because I don't want them to come. I'm not going to disarm.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if they're going to come for me, it's going to happen right here in the street in front of everyone.
Right.
And I'm going to go down right then and there.
So he said, scenario, government takes legal arms, you hide backups.
Right. No, I am in support of that. I am in support of all that. But here's the thing. If it comes to that, guys, we would have to mobilize and get very serious, very simple politically, meaning that, doing some pro-Second Amendment marches with our firearms on state capitals where you have Republican governors, Republican attorney generals, Republican sheriffs, Republican law enforcement. You don't go fight the devil in hell. Only Jesus can do that. You're going to fight, with everything on your side, and particularly a tyrannical government those people from January 6th are still in prison.
Yeah.
All they did was walk around a building.
Yeah.
And that's to our eternal shame, right? That's to our eternal shame. But, you can't go to D.C. and fight on their grounds where they make the laws and they can set everything and they can violate your rights and throw away the key and expect to have a good outcome. You're going to have a Republican president and a Republican Senate and a Republican House take over to have that happen, which is a long time to be in jail while America straightens itself out. Yeah. But because of abortion and because of the mass shooting issue, we're going to take far less seats than we would have otherwise.
Yes. It
was going to be a bloodbath of unparalleled, but because of these two issues, every, pussy hat wearing female out there and every baby killer and everyone who, thinks that assault weapons are something when they're not, is going to vote against it, regardless if they're paying $10 at the gas tank or not, regardless if they can't eat hamburger anymore because it's $15 a pound.
Yeah, the passions from the COVID stuff with kids and everything going on in the school systems have cooled a little bit. So yes, I think the two new issues are definitely going to take over. Todd said, I can see a Second Amendment march like they did in Virginia soon. I think Biden's emboldened by Trudeau.
I was in Virginia for that Second Amendment march. I did not want to go, but because I'm a man of integrity and because I walk the walk and talk the talk, we went. And I thought something bad was going to happen. I'll be honest with you. But I had to go. Now, I have friends that have no character whatsoever who talk all the talk and don't show up to Trump rallies and don't show up to that and do all kinds of other things, because they're cowards. But I went, to the Million MAGA March. I went to the 6th, even though I hated that I had to go, but I wasn't going to let them not see me. I wanted to go there and be counted, right? So again, I think we have to put pressure on our politicians where the laws are on our side and make them very uncomfortable so that they're on every TV station screaming at the top of their lungs that they're getting arrested in D.C. for us, because that's why they get a check for the rest of their life. They go and they serve and they get a freaking retirement for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So you know what? Suck it up and go get arrested if you have to. I don't care. You're my representative. You're there supposed to be doing this. You should be screaming at the top of your lungs when so many of them, all they want to do is fill their pockets.
I cannot see that happening. Do you see any of them actually
Yeah,
stepping up in
Marjorie
that?
Stone Green or whatever her name is.
Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Yeah, whatever. She's a beast.
Yeah.
She's awesome. You know, she's done right from what I've seen.
Mm.
I've seen others that have been pretty hardcore, but they need to get out there and they need to really do this. But you can understand. I understand that they were really scared. They were terrified after the 6th that they were coming for them. Anyone who was on that side of the January 6th movement, they were terrified that they were coming for them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still doing investigation and subpoenaing people with their kangaroo court with Liz Cheney.
Right.
And it was Mitt Romney as well. Who's the other traitor on there?
Probably. I said, as far as I'm concerned, DC is the new micronation, like a Rome. It's foreign and for all intents and purposes an occupying force against the American people.
You nailed it.
I mean, they were pushing for being a 51st state rather recently, twice in the last 2 years. Ship of rats.
Yep.
Oh, Carol Costanzo.
Oh, Carol. I want to thank Carol. So.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
And
Carol,
go ahead. She said she does not want to be teacher/armed security, not conducive to teaching role. It's literally like MMA in this school. Sorry, I missed her first comment. My daughter is a teacher with 12 plus years in the classroom. She came to teaching from the DOJ as a parole officer and initially worked in all male max prison.
Here's another thing. So I don't think it should be cops in school doing security. And people are probably going to roll their eyes at me or whatever, but I don't think, with the left's agenda, calling cops bad guys, giving them arresting powers and all that, I don't think that is the right role. I think you need to create a new department that is highly trained, like the air marshals, that are only in schools, and that their job is to protect schools. And that is where
a government thing or a private thing.
A government thing, where they're the new air marshals. They're the air marshals of the school, highly trained.
Yeah.
They fly on planes. That's all they do. They're not there for drugs. They're not there for any of the other stuff. They're there for violence.
Yeah.
If you're doing violence, they step in.
Yeah.
Right. That's who they are. Right. And you hire the right people. You hire trigger pulling vets. You hire high performers.
So Todd said, why not hire veterans who are invisible to society, provided they have mental health checks, give the men purpose?
Well, again, and that's why I'm talking about this. I think it needs to be a new department with extremely high standards, like a U.S. Marshal, with security clearances.
Chris says it should be state, not federal.
Yeah. I'm all about decentralizing power.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is setting a standard.
Yeah.
Setting a national standard and let the states run it.
Better be better than their run, hide, fight program, though.
Yeah. Well, instead, but that's where I think it has to be. I think there has to be an aggressive standard where this person wears body armor. This person is good to go. This person is there, and they are trained to do one thing. They know every inch of that school. They know everything about it. And when it's time to go, they've got a locker with body armor and shields. So when stupid cops show up without any body armor on, like I don't care if you're in Uvalde, Texas, and it's hot. I wore body armor in Iraq. Put on your freaking body armor so you're not useless.
Saying?
Yeah, they were
saying they don't have it because they're hot.
You could see their uniforms. They were freaking flapping. There was nothing there.
Carol says, my daughter said she would rather see the National Guard doing the security and not being used as teachers. No, you can't use
the military that way. That's the problem, right? It has to be a civilian entity set up to run civilians. When you start depending on the military, active duty military, to police matters in there, it can't be done. It has to be something that's set up to do that purpose and only that purpose, right? So that's where the job is, right? So when the next BLM crap goes down and they pull all the cops out of all the schools like they did, cops still aren't in many schools or all around this country.
Yeah, I think that her daughter's point is just that she doesn't want the teachers to be responsible for being armed and essentially being the security.
I think it should be up to the teacher. You can't force a teacher. If they don't want to be armed, they don't want to be armed. But if a teacher, anybody who is trained can do the training who is psychologically stable enough to do it should be allowed to be a part of it, or else you're infringing on their right to defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point on it. And Carol, I just want to say, you have a sixth sense. Every time I'm down in the dumps and I'm having like the toughest time being a pastor, or getting attacked, or just letting things get down, for some reason you send me a message that picks me up and dusts me off and sets me back on my feet again. And I can't tell you how much that means. Being a pastor is the loneliest thing I've ever done. It's the loneliest thing I've ever done. It is, and Paul Washer will talk about this, and other people talk about this, but no one wants to hang out with you. You're kind of separated from everyone, and I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to change the whole image of all this, and I'm trying to change how we do business here. And that you can be vulnerable around me. You can be who you are about me. I'm not gonna come down on you. It helps me know where your demons are at, so we can work at them. And so again, I just wanted to say that really appreciate your friendship and treasure your friendship, and I wish you and Lou were so much closer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll stop being mushy now. All right, are we done with the Second Amendment and the school shooting stuff? Because I got other topics.
So Chris said, if a teacher is not comfortable, then they shouldn't have to. But if they are trained and show they can meet a standard, then a teacher should be able to carry. Todd said, you're still detoxing from your previous state.
What do you mean by, tell me that?
So, his previous comment said, let blue states be the ones with school shootings. Sorry to be so crass. Still have disdain for Minnesota, the epicenter of defund the police. And then I said, you're still detoxing from your previous state. Trust is an amazing thing and so hard to give after being burnt.
Yeah, I get that. I have no trace of Massachusetts left in me, brother. I'm ashamed of every bit of it.
Was previous state that or Virginia?
Yeah, I don't know. But
is this hanging with us right now?
Are we done doing the dot? Well,
Did the beer dry out?
The beer dried in the keyboard and it stopped bouncing around. Praise the Lord.
Good.
All right, so we're going to put that to bed. If there are any more questions, who was that gal?
Pam?
Oh, I missed. Did you get this big one?
No, I didn't see Facebook.
Tim?
So you're going to have to hide it and we can read it here. Okay, so Tim said, opinion, instead of trying to take guns from the people, open teaching teams across the country. My first shotgun was a 410 shotgun given to me at 8 years old, but I was taken out and learned how to hunt and fish for food. Anyway, morally, in my opinion, teaching teams could make a bigger difference or impact between firearm control instead of just trying to take them away, because people would have their rights and feel more capable in a productive sense. Just an inspiration opinion. Mega blessings.
I'm trying to understand that. Are you saying training everybody to competency in firearms would help in the active shooter equation, Tim? I'm trying to understand what you're saying there, and I want to be respectful of it. You've been a class act in the show, and I want to make sure I represent your opinion well when I talk about it. Mm-hmm. So if you can clarify that. But as far as the rest of this.
And then Chris said, Jay, you should not feel separated from the people. Many people love you and want to hang. And Steve said, I agree with you, Christopher.
Yeah, unfortunately, one's in Northern Virginia and the other one's in Florida. Everyone around here must be fed up with me. So anyways.
Well, did you tell, does everyone know? I mean, you obviously missed your.
Yeah, so here's how bad it is here, guys. Okay, here's how bad it is.
You missed your happy hour with Solomon.
So I can't get Christians to show up and have a beer with me here and get some bro time. So I did my research, and cows can drink beer. In fact, Kobe beef, they drink Guinness. So I'm going to start a series, and I was going to do it today if the milk machine did it. And it's going to be, beers with my bowl. And me and Solomon are going to be out there in the field. He's going to be drinking Guinness.
I think that you're going to get, it's going to be Solomon and his harem wanting to drink beer. You think that they're going to just let Solomon come and get some?
Whatever. It'll be me and the whole herd. It'll be herd
Do you
time.
think our milk will taste like beer?
I'm down with that.
Yeah, moms aren't supposed to drink while they're.
So literally, Solomon's my bro. Solomon's our bull, and he's like a 1,000-pound Labrador, and I've become his full-time masseuse. So I got 5 jobs now. Solomon's masseuse and scratching post is the other one, because I have to distract him, particularly today while Lauren is doing the hand pumping, hand milking.
Did you talk about that?
Yeah, I talked about that in the beginning, and then how I want. Here's to you.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
But
I think I got
I got to
quarter
distract
volume.
Solomon because we're milking in Gen Pop.
Yeah.
Right? We're literally milking in Gen Pop. We don't have a run. We don't have a corral system. We don't have a milking station. We're in the process of building all that, and we do this. So we have a big down tree that runs parallel our fence line. I put a hog panel on one side, and he was bending that down. So I have to park my side-by-side at one end of the tree, and then I put another hog panel on the other side in a half circle, and I am there distracting him so he doesn't push in to go get the sweet feed from the cow feeds bucket.
Yeah. And so he has a big branch.
Yes, I have a big branch.
For any human would be downright painful, and he's being foam rolled. He's foam rolling.
I got this branch with all
his
this tough bark on it, and I am just scraping all over him, and he is loving it. And today he roared at me again. Lauren got to hear the roar.
Yes.
It's an intimidating roar.
Well, he had his mouth open, and he
Yeah,
was
it's
like drooling, and I was like,
roar. I was walking through the field towards him one day, and he saw me and did that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, is it on?
Am I about to have to shoot my bull?
I don't want to shoot my bull.
So Claudia says, I bet Solomon will outdrink you. Yes, I bet he would. And then Steve said, I want to see a video of that. I can see it now. Solomon's beer chat with Jay. There will be video evidence, I'm sure.
Yeah. So Solomon will have a 6-pack in a bucket, and I will have a porch rocker.
This is about to be an expensive habit with Mr. Solomon. Todd said, give your cows beer, then after processing, beer batter those steaks.
Oh, yeah. Well, Kobe beef is finished. They finished them by giving them Guinness. So we'll see how it goes. Solomon's going to be around for a long time. So I hope to start a series called Drinking with My Bull, or a beer with my bull. Like you said, that was a good call. And we're going to get deep out there, me and Solomon.
I can't wait to hear
It's going to be some deep talk.
His thoughts about the Bible and such.
Yeah.
Mr. Solomon, I mean, aptly named.
Yeah. So, I mean, Solomon was very wise until he lost his mind. But, so it's going to be Beers with My Bull Solomon.
Yeah. So Chris said, watch the movie Temple Grandin about cows, how she changed the industry. Yeah, she's the one with Asperger's. Now would be considered high-functioning autism. And because of her, how a lot of times people on the spectrum can have similarities to animals as far as liking the squeeze. So she really redesigned a lot of the slaughter processing plants, to calm them down in that. We don't need to think about that end of things. I don't know how these kind of small hobby farm slaughter process goes as far as where you send them and that kind of thing. But I would have to pray that it's a kinder experience than the bulk processing at the.
We'll insist on. I mean, I'm going to have to. If I have to kill all of our animals, I'll kill all our animals.
I've heard that. I mean, a lot of people will do obviously their own chickens, and doing your hogs is pretty straightforward. I've heard that cows are kind of next level intensive, but I'm not sure why other than size. But we'll sort that out.
Yeah, we'll sort that out when it comes time.
So Todd had a question, not about cows. So about your experience with churches here. Before I jump to assumptions, I'm curious what your 10,000-foot view is.
Yeah, it's terrible. So it's one of two spectrums, Todd. You're either got your dry, joyless Christianity where no one smiles, no one laughs, no one has fun, and camaraderie is sitting around getting fatter. Um, no one trains, no one works out, no one shoots, no one, they're all. I mean, it's just all your same stuff. We're Noah right now, guys. We know what's coming, and no one is doing anything about it. So we're trying to build an ark here. It should be pretty obvious that that's what we're doing. We're building a compound and building an ark with an amazing congregation, and I hope to start training, and I hope to start, molding, people into an awesome community. They're already all friends and all that, but I want to get them serving the Lord, and getting uncomfortable, and really growing, within their relationship with the Lord, but growing with each other and as a human. The other aspect off the other side of the equation is the church concerts groups here, right? Where everyone thinks they're Bethel music or
You get that
elevation
everywhere.
worship or whatever. So those are the two models. You get the dry Baptists who make their own clothes and add to the Bible like crazy. There, I expect them to show up with pitchforks and torches any day at the church here. And then you have your concert goers, Jesus, hyper grace.
The kind of ones the ones that we were hopeful weren't going to be as prevalent here.
Yeah, they're just as
The
prevalent.
ones with the
They're
rainbow
everywhere.
flags out front and you can come here, no problem, live how you want. So he said, I found a decent one near Limestone, but yes, there's a sense of spineless Christianity. Not much for evangelical either.
No, it's really not. And there's really not many Reformed churches. We're Reformed in our theology, and I think there's another one in Kingsport, and that's really it. So pretty much everyone else here is Rapture, premillennial, hyper grace. Jesus is your bro. He's not your Lord, and hey, be miserable.
No joy.
No joy. Yeah, I literally had that criticism. I had somebody from a church that we were attending here try to do an intervention on me and say I'm too joyous. So that tells you.
And now he's going to have a beer with his bull instead.
Now I'm going to have a beer with my
of
bull.
Anyone from that
He's
church.
a lot more fun than most Christians here anyway, so here's that.
Todd said, did you hear that Tri-Cities is building a processing plant with all the ones mysteriously burning down? It makes me a bit more hopeful and thankful of God. A meat processing plant or what?
That's great.
Has there been any updates on the processing plant?
I haven't heard anything
I haven't
since
seen
then.
anything since a couple weeks ago.
I mean, there's the formula shortage, of course. That's still a big problem for everyone. And Biden said that he didn't realize there was a problem. Yes, meat processing, Todd. Right?
Okay. I wonder where.
Yeah. So the other topic I want to talk about tonight, I told you we were going to be talking about a lot of different things, is I have a family member who is an insane liberal who is ruled by her emotions on everything. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's such faux compassion, right? She's a baby murderer supporter. She's, I'm near certain she's an atheist. And she posted a thing about, Pride Month is necessary because there are people who are gay who think they'd be better off dead than being gay. And and then there were some comments in the thread. Typically, I just scroll by her stuff, but this caught my attention because I haven't heard the suicide angle on this play before on Pride Month. So I'm like, okay, let me see if there's something to this argument. And it quickly devolved to people who don't support it are bigots, hateful bigots. And I pushed back and said, hey, listen, the Christian perspective on this is not from hate. Christians do not push back on gay loved ones or lesbian, whatever, of the alphabet soup out of hate. They do it because they believe, as we believe, that they will be burning in hell for their unrepentant sin. And they're trying to save them from a terrible fate. Very similar to somebody who's, trying heroin and you don't want them to be become an addict and lose them to heroin. So it devolved. It was my attempt to show them that, you can not support their agenda or be against their agenda and not be hateful.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And of course, I was met with hate, anger, nobody could read a sentence and their reading comprehension went out the window and they just started attacking me.
Yeah,
and
there
going
was
off on
the
me
typical reading between the lines into things that you didn't say.
So
Hysteria.
anyways, and then, just by providing the context, my family member swore at me, which has never happened before, and like mocked my beliefs and everything else. And I just saw somebody extremely broken, extremely bitter, and extremely unhappy, and I felt very sad for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought probably one of the more interesting comments back that reflects probably what I would have used to argue as an atheist was the part about that, Christians all come in here and say, we're trying to save you. And from their perspective, they don't believe in what we believe. And so they don't think or want to be saved. So these are people who don't want to be saved. They just want to be left alone to do what they believe in is right for them. And I would have probably articulated that before. And I don't believe in heaven. I don't believe in hell. I don't need your prayers. I don't need your saving. Leave me alone. It doesn't mean anything to me. And so for you to kind of force
That's how she used to feel.
That's how I used to feel. And so I recognize that in her argument in the, you think that you're coming across as compassionate as a Christian, but if you don't believe in Christianity, then it's coming across
they have
as
become
judgmental.
a spoiled, entitled population. If you're not dancing in the streets with them because they like having sex with a certain gender, you're a hater.
Right.
Right? I mean, you're now a hater if you won't date a transgender woman.
Right, if you'd say
right.
Yeah.
If you won't date a dude pretending to be a woman, you're now a hater.
Right.
Right. So, again, it's so dangerous what they're doing. They're completely mocking God. They have a month of pride of sin. It would be like, hey, let's do adulterer month. Let's do rape month. Let's do, liar month or all these other things and celebrate them and mock God by stealing his rainbow.
Right. But again, most of them I would say are not Christians. Most, obviously there are some that are, but most of them don't believe in that. So therefore they think that they're just living out the way that they were born, versus they could recognize maybe that adultery is bad and stuff. So they would not put themselves in that same camp.
Yeah. Well,
whereas
I am
Christian
always
would,
going to
sin is
speak
sin is
out
sin.
because I'm a man of principle. I have cowardly friends whose family members have come out and they supported everything they did.
Mm-hmm.
And they are leaders in a Christian community in a town, and they have no substance. 100% coward, 100% paper thin, do one thing, do the other, and it breaks my heart because I always root for this person. I want them to come out from the shadows. I want them to find their spine, but they caved. They have put God second every time it cost them something. Mm. In our relationship, they have put God second every time it cost them something.
They're not alone in that, I think. That's how a lot of Christians, unfortunately, behave. So Tim says, you're doing great. I was thinking like kids in school have driver's ed. Oh, this is back to the gun comment. Like driver's ed with training offer gun safety along with all the extra classes like homemaking, ROTC, and other student aid classes to help teach people who would like to learn.
I have no problem with having
It'd be great. It would never, ever happen.
Right. Well, I mean, that used to be part of being a person. They used to get firearms training, mm-hmm. right, in a lot of places. I have no problem with doing that and offering that. We do that. We're going to do that with our kids. And we do that with our community. And, if PCM ever evolves into a school, our school will be teaching marksmanship and shooting and everything else.
Many, many, many steps down the road.
We can't even get someone here to like hold the cow for us. Never mind, like a school.
Run
at
a
this point,
school.
right? Or help set up in the morning. So
Mama Perry is not running a school
yeah,
unless God tells me I'm running a school.
Lord,
Please
you know,
don't tell me to run a school. So
So-
Chris said, people have forgotten how to disagree with each other, but still care for each other. I don't have to agree with you, but I can still care for them. And then he said, how can I live with myself if I don't try to help someone? I can say my part and they can disagree with me, but I must try to help them. That's what we're called to do.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
And then Todd said, I have to dance around LinkedIn posts where two men have a surrogate birthing person and are essentially trying to emulate a healthy family in photos, but raising damaged kids. Yeah.
I'm not for that in any way, shape, or form. I got into it with my, and again, it was a very respectful discussion. That's why I like talking to this friend from Boston. And, he's like, I've seen, two lesbian moms who are fantastic parents. And I have seen, the animals, who put cigarettes out on their kids.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's evil. One, those people shouldn't have kids. These kids should be taken away from them. And that's our job. But there's no balance in a female.
Yeah. Male, female.
It's not what God intended. So there's going to be issues there.
Yep. Christine. New voice, Christine?
Christine, welcome.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Well, I can tell you where this all went awry. I can tell you the moment, Christine, where respectful disagreement went out the window. And it happened with Obamacare. If you remember, previous to Obamacare, all those guys would be debating and arguing. They'd all go have a beer or they'd all hang out. And it was a good old boys club, but it was like making sausage because they needed a supermajority to get anything done. That means there's a lot of compromise to get people on there. So they couldn't carpet bomb people to existence. But when they did reconciliation to pass Obamacare and all they needed was a simple majority, there was no need to be nice to build super consensus. Now the goal was to destroy the enemy, destroy your opponent, vilify him because your argument is completely debunked. I mean, there is not a single Democrat policy that works. There's not one. They just don't work.
We're getting a demo of that right now, aren't we? Christine said, we are the three families you prayed for many weeks ago. One here, two to go.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're here. I hope you're liking it. By all means, Christine, stop by our place. Everybody stops by here for a cup of coffee, and we try to guide them as best as we can to and show them.
Are you one of the ones here or one of the two to go?
And Tim said respectful disagreement also takes the position you take aren't so far apart. You're not creating different cultures. Exactly. Here's the difference is today, one hates our culture, hates America, and the other loves America. So you're the first. Well,
Awesome.
Welcome.
If you need any help settling in, let us know.
Yep. We're here for you. We can tell you the best pizza, best Chinese, best Mexican,
And pretty soon, if you want some chicken eggs and maybe some dairy,
Chicken
let
eggs
us
and
know.
some-
We'll
yeah.
have plenty.
So what do you want to talk about the milk?
What did you? I don't want to repeat it. What did you share?
I just said that our milk machine broke today. That's all I got into.
Yeah. Are we done all the more serious conversation before I go on a dairy rant?
I don't know. Is there anything serious you guys want to talk about before we shift gears into the struggles of dairy world? Hey, Phil.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
He says, salute, guys. It's been a minute. Strength and honor. Phil is a guest from the Hope Report.
Awesome, brother.
I got to assist in the capture of Gonzalo Lopez, the cartel killer here in Centerville, Texas.
Awesome, brother.
Must have been exciting.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Check out his book, Bullet to the Bible. gangster's
interesting
tale where
story.
he went from an enemy of God to a warrior of God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Todd says neighbor sells goat milk. Surprisingly good. Was hesitant. Yeah, Jason's not a fan
I
of goat
don't
products.
like anything goat, any goat product.
I love a good goat cheese. Goat milk is a little, but
Our
heard
milk
that
was a
there's
little.
there's so much to learn. We are learning as we go, and it's been quite a crash course the last couple of weeks. And I was going to say the most recent thing, but the most recent thing was the milk machine breaking this morning for no apparent reason. But yesterday, I had given some milk, some fresh, raw milk to a friend a couple days ago. And I got a message from her saying, is there any chance this could be bad? I was like, no, I don't think so. It's like the only thing that I could think of was it could be the batch I accidentally left in the freezer during the cool down period a little too long. That might have changed the flavor or something. She's like, okay. And then Jason commented at dinner. He was like, this milk is really strong or something. And
So
my friend had described it as plasticky. And I was like, do you think it tastes plasticky? He's like, yeah. So he looked it up. And apparently if your cow is kind of like too skinny, or their diet is imbalanced in some kind of way, they can be essentially in ketosis. And that makes their milk kind of rancid. Is that the description?
The term is rancid. It tastes soapy.
It's not bad. It's just the taste is off. And
you cure that. How?
By pasteurizing.
By pasteurizing it.
So our butter's been good. Claudia, our butter's been great.
Our cream, our half and half has been great.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially because I haven't been drinking the milk straight. I've been having it only in coffee or the butter. And
I stopped drinking it straight because.
So our dear Margot, we haven't been able to use her milk because of the mastitis, which is a whole other thing. But she's got a lot better milk quality than Gracie because Gracie is super skinny. So we're gonna have to try to sort out Gracie's milk. Hopefully, if Margot comes back online here next week, the pigs can have Gracie's milk because they're not going to care. They will not complain about some funky tasting milk.
The chickens and the pigs are a success story. The pigs are growing like weeds. They are scary how fast they grow.
Well, I mean, you can see why they are slaughter age within like 9 months.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Monstrous. And the red one
is
my girl.
Funny.
She's my girl. She's a sweetheart. You know, she
loves a little booty rub.
She loves a little booty rub. She's like, she runs around and plays and flops around. Yeah. And Al is just such a load.
He is.
I can't wait for him to get in the soup pan and get another red.
In the bacon pan.
Yeah, I can't wait to eat Al's bacon. Not a fan of Al.
He consumes enough milk. He should have delicious.
Yeah, his bacon is going to be epic.
Fat. It is ridiculous. These guys, they go through 3, depending on kind of how much we have floating around, they're consuming 3 to 6 gallons of milk a day.
No, Todd, we named them because one is red and one is black, and they're back there, and they were bickering all the time in the beginning. So I named them Peg and Al after married with children.
Which
she's got red hair, and Al, he's just a dude.
He's just a dude. He's a load. And Claudia, I will get new pictures of the crew this weekend. But yeah, they're funny. But yeah, so we've had the mastitis with Margot, which started last week, and we gave there's a generic treatment that you can get from the feed store that's kind of like a general antibiotic. And then I tried to send off a sample to culture so you can find out the specific strain so you can target it with a more specific antibiotic. And I sent that out on Thursday. 1-day air UPS mail. Just trying to get it up to Whiteville, Virginia. $90. Supposed to get there the next morning at 10 a.m. I looked at 10 a.m. on Friday. I was like, okay, I should see a confirmation of delivery. I said, nope, now it's going to be delivered on Tuesday. which was the next business day because we went into the holiday weekend because of bad weather.
So we lit $100 on
and
fire
they
for
won't
nothing.
they won't give your money back for a weather-related cancellation. And so this was a milk sample that was being cooled down by a pack of ice that I put in with it. So it was like, there's no way it was going to be good. So they got it, they tried, and it didn't do anything. So now the first round of treatment didn't totally kick it. So we gave her another one. We're going to test her on Sunday to see if the mastitis is still around. If it is, we're going to have to reculture the milk.
That's so true. I forgot about that. It's funny. Peg likes her butt rubbing.
These are really very appropriately named pigs.
They are. They totally are. She is so fun, though. I mean, I really like her. He is just a load. Like I said, I like Dal, by the way, in the show. But it's
Correction previews with slightly musky goat cheese, onion chives, and buttery mashed potatoes. About the best damn thing goat cheese has been on for me. I'd like that. I'm not sure if you'd like that.
Oh, the baby again. She's teething.
Go to sleep.
She's teething. But I also have breaking news. The baby's first words, just like baby bees were.
Oh my goodness.
Da-da.
Okay,
I
guys,
heard
can
da-da
you please?
1,000 times today.
She is saying
We're gonna play
the sound da-da.
da-da.
Can you all please
Da-da.
comment
Da-da.
the difference
Da-da.
between a
Da-da.
sound
Da-da.
and a word?
Da-da.
Banana.
Banana, what's up? Did you miss all
Strength
the
and honor,
good
strength and honor. Strength and honor.
So, our 5.5-month-old child
said da-da for the
has
first
not
time.
said a word. She has babbled a sound.
No.
She has babbled
Locked
a sound.
eyes with my soul. Storing to me smile and said, da-da.
And then she locked eyes with the dog and said, da, da, da.
No. Then she channeled the love that she felt for me on everything else that she saw because of that moment. Thank you, Carol. She loves her dada, and that is what she's saying. Thank you.
No.
Yeah.
I am going to. This is not I didn't get the first word. This is
it was the same time last time.
This
He
is
was
a
literally
resolute.
chanting my name. Dada! Look, that doesn't count.
It doesn't.
It does.
When she is saying the sound with no attributable meaning.
Hey, Duncan, what's up?
Strength and honor, strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Tips hat. Back at you.
Back at you.
So, anyways, agree to disagree, but I'm going to stand firm that our 5.5-month-old child has not said an actual word yet.
She has?
She'd be like baby genius if she had said a word.
You're saying that our child is not right? You're saying she's not brilliant?
I
And
am.
she locked eyes with me and said, Dada?
I am saying that she has said some nice sounding sounds.
So who's Duncan and Banana Booey? We talked in the beginning of the show. We talked about the active shooter extensively and things we have to do. We also got into LGBTQ stuff. If you want to go back and check it out, it was an extended conversation on the active shooter and all the things that can be done. You know, how the left is weaponizing the event, what their true agenda is on that, and how we counter it. So,
Chris said Adeline has kept us awake for the last month. We can relate. Is it going rough, Chris? Is she unhappy awake or happy awake?
I got something for all the sleep apnea people out there. If you snore and you have sleep apnea, get a darn CPAP. Because let me tell you something. They analyzed my sleep study, and I was waking up 44 times an hour. 44 times an hour. And I was absolutely exhausted. You know, I could fall asleep mid-sentence. I was living on massive amounts of caffeine to keep functioning. And now I get a CPAP.
Well, and you've had a CPAP and they just didn't fit well.
It didn't fit well. I will give the VA credit. They tracked me down and said, why aren't you using your CPAP? And I said,
That was like the best thing the VA's ever
yeah, the best thing they've ever done.
Yeah.
They call, and I said, well, because the stuff you sent me sucks. It doesn't stay on, and I'm a side sleeper, and it's an issue. And then they sent me like these Cadillac amazing foam, super duper like ceiling masks on me, and I woke up twice an hour on there, meaning I had 2 events and 1, and I am a different person. Except when Lauren's alarm goes off 42 times in the morning. Then,
42 divided by.
then this is what I wanted.
Been in CPAP for 5 years. Hope technology evolves from wireless nose headbands. Can't roll like an alligator and end up waking 3 times a night.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing, but it's
Well,
way
I mean,
better than what I had.
Are you guys gonna do like the
No, I'm not doing that.
insertion, whatever it is,
That thing creeps me out, that show, and they're like, oh, it's time
like
to
the
go to bed.
pacemaker
And
for
I
your?
do something here and go on to, I don't even want an electronic object in my body. No, thank you.
That's controlling your breathing
Yeah,
patterns.
no, thank you. No, thank you. They already have the inserts and prosthetics that they can put in there. No way. I'll rather go back to huffing Afrin every night and sleeping on my side and doing just fine.
Chris, I'm glad that it's a happy awake for you. That makes a big difference. If you're going to be tired, at least it's a happy tired.
Yeah.
Have you seen a picture of little baby?
I have not.
Send Jason a picture. We want to see this little one.
Send a pic, dude.
Yeah. Anyways, you want me to keep talking about milking?
Yes, please.
Okay. No electronic inserts, hell no. Yeah.
Exactly. Go ahead. Keep going, milking mama.
Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going back on all of the dairy drama. All of our other animals are so easy, but this dairy has been a ride. I mean, there's so much work.
Go ahead, keep going. I'll read.
Okay. So Margot got her mastitis, and then we started making the milking station because we've been hauling this heavy milking machine down to the field every day and back to the house, and they're not designed for off-roading. And so they were building the milking station, and they hit our septic pipe. I'm sure you shared about that. So that
No, I don't think I did.
So yeah, the tractor hit the septic pipe, and so that then diverted the project into repairing and upgrading the septic pipe, delaying the actual creation of the pad, and so that's been a whole thing. So we still go off-roading.
Special shout out to David,
Yes.
to Warren, and to
Leonard.
Those guys came through big.
Yeah. So there's been that while we've been still dealing with Margot mastitis, and then
Yeah, the septic pipe, brother.
the septic pipe. And then what happened yesterday? And then yesterday our milking machine was working fine. Got it back up after milking, cleaned it.
She cleans it too much.
Fine.
I mean, she runs that thing. I swear our septic is going to be full of bleach.
Oh,
because-
bleach. I'm just doing what I was told. You have to keep
Get a
this
second opinion.
system like super clean.
Get a
And
second
sanitary
opinion.
is so important with raw milk. That's like I've seen that drilled in everywhere. Put it to bed, like tucked it in the corner of our kitchen like every night, and then this morning went to use it and it wouldn't suck. Like the vacuum part of it was just kaput. So we spent all morning trying to fix this darn Walmart China knockoff
Made in
milking
China.
machine.
Like no instructions, no how to put it together. I mean, we were literally looking at
No
pictures
repair
of it online.
parts,
and
like nothing.
Nothing. No troubleshooting. No nothing. So the good news is, if you're gonna buy a cheap disposable Japanese piece of garbage, which I
they're
did,
still not cheap.
we
This thing
spent
was
500 and something bucks for
and
it,
it's
right?
the cheapest version compared to the $3,000 nice ones.
But if you're gonna do it, don't buy it from Amazon. Buy it from a hard address like Walmart, so you have somebody to go drop it off at to get your money back. So I may have paid a little bit more, but now I'm getting every cent back.
Thank goodness for that. Because so we're like, okay, here we go, hand milking with these two. They've been putting out collective about 7 to 8 gallons a day. So we're like, okay.
Yeah.
And my hands hurt anyway, so I was like, this is gonna.
It was so sad,
stink.
guys. I've seen guys milking on YouTube because I was researching it. And they're like, and it's fast. I'm like, yeah, I milk a cow in 5 minutes. And then another one's like, I milk 8 gallons in 6 minutes. And
Okay, I'm waiting for the bus. Oh, really?
You did great. You were doing the
because I think you got down there.
You were doing the PETA approved ultimate gentle udder massaging
You got
technique.
down there.
I did.
And then I was doing it too. And so you said it looks like you're getting more than me. So if I was not good at it,
I was doing the way you were coaching me.
You were doing your thing.
Like, just, and these people, I mean, they take an eye out how fast they were going with it. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they can come milk my cow.
Well, I'm just saying, maybe PETA isn't who we should be listening to on how to milk.
Right. I think the baby needs
Oh, you did awesome, babe. You did awesome. And the whole time I'm like, man, I wish we were in a milking stall because I can't be down there in a butt to the ground squat doing this. Like, we're doing this in the worst situation. The cows are downhill from us, right? So you got to get even low, like you're reaching even lower in a compromised position because they're down the hill against the tree. And we're doing this not on a ramp in a milking stall. We're just doing this in the field.
Anyways, they kept stepping in the pot, knocking it over. I mean, it was like poop milk. I mean, it was just, it very quickly became apparent we weren't saving any milk today.
Way to go, Jason, with all those fails, blame your wife.
You're picking up on that, Phil? Yeah.
I want to give Phil a shout out here. My wife, Dawn, kicks off her new business, Sweet by Sweet Bakery. Her debut is tomorrow in Laughlin, Texas at the Angelina Farmers Market. If you're around, she has homemade muffins, no preservatives, and gluten-free. The Sheriff's Department has put in the standing order Sicilian style strength.
Wish I was there. I could eat them. That sounds delicious.
It's baby bee training to be a milkmaid. Right now, she's just making everything harder.
Well, she's very cute. She sits in the back of the tractor and she feeds Solomon the bull leaves. She can pick them from the tree that
he can't reach, and he eats one leaf at a time.
It's
he's
super
so
cute.
Yeah.
And Todd. Oh, Todd. Giving the cow the soft touch udder. It's so bad. So bad.
It was funny because the cows kept looking back at her.
Like, what are you doing?
One of them actually kissed her.
They're not. I did. I got a big kiss today. They're not used to hand milking. They've been in a commercial dairy. They've been machine milk. So they were like, "What the heck is
what are you
taking
doing back
so
there?"
long?
I like it because I'm on my third bucket of feed.
They got it.
Oh my God, they gorged
scored.
themselves.
And I hardly put a dent in those girls today. I mean, I tried my best just to take the pressure off their poor boobies, but
just read Christina's
yeah, keep a daily journal. You could make a book later. The Egg and I is a classic about starting an egg farm and all the antics. You're collecting quite the list of adventures. That's the truth. So yeah, poor girls, they're out there bursting at the seams still.
I think
tonight.
I got the title or pretty close to the title for my men's ministry book.
Oh yeah, what's that?
A bear with my bull Solomon. Because there were no Christian men to hang out with.
That's for your men's ministry?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So short book. Don't bother being friends with Christians.
No, that's not true. Just saying we got to do better.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So the girls, I think I maybe got a collective of like 2, maybe 3 gallons out of the 8 that was supposed to happen today. I'm hoping that they are going to be okay.
So I'm getting up at the crack of dawn and flying to darn near Chattanooga, Tennessee tomorrow to buy a used
God
machine.
put one milking
1,400
machine for
There's
sale.
one milking machine for sale within 250 miles. It's a fellow Christian minister who doesn't have the time and get out of the dairy business. He loves his machine. He's only had it for 4 months. We're picking it up and we're running with it.
Yeah, so their milking will be delayed tomorrow until that machine is back. But I just want to give
And Margaret's yelling at me
major
out there.
props to all the people who hand milk because
Well,
all
again,
these smokes.
imagine them being higher than you being in a stool, and they're in this thing where their head is in this block and they can't move, and you're just like.
I know I have problems with my hands, and it's just like they were cramping. I was like, this is gonna not be good. So
I was willing to forsake milk for a year.
and
We got rancid milk, we got mastitis, and now I'm.
Oh yeah, I was trying to remember what happened yesterday. Yesterday was like the revelation that our milk, that Gracie doesn't make good tasting milk.
I'm just like, what in the Lord?
Oh,
is
Todd's
going on?
back! Another pun. Gotta milk it.
So I'll tell you what, it is cool having all these dairy products, and when we get efficient and we get the milking station done, which talking to Woody today, next week we're going to be pouring the concrete.
Praise
Next
Jesus.
Saturday, the
Okay,
work
one more.
crew is coming over.
Okay, so we're still looking at 2+ weeks for cows to be on site.
Right. So
Hopefully, this new machine is cool being
I'm hoping this new
off-roading.
machine is like, I think it comes with an 8-foot hose,
We'll see.
so that we can just strap it down inside the side-by-side and not have to roll it down the hill and do all this
Yeah, we'll have
craziness
to.
with it. I think that beats it up.
Yeah.
All-terrain, they're not meant to be
They're
all-terrain
not.
vehicles.
No.
So
It's been an experience, guys. So if anyone wants to start homesteading and get a dairy cow, you can come talk to us first because we are crash coursing hardcore.
love it. I mean, I love our animals. I mean, even Margot yelling at me out there.
She talks about it's. I was like the other day, we had our windows open. It was a beautiful day, and she was standing right at the fence line, like up front, because we can see from our kitchen where they get watered and fed. And she was standing there, and we were just talking back and forth, go, Margo, and she would go, moo. And I was like, I never thought I would be talking to my cow out my window.
Yeah.
So it's very cool.
And then I'm so pumped. Again, Solomon gave me a roar.
Yeah.
It was cool, man. It was bro time. It was like, let's headbutt. That's one headbutt I don't think I'll win.
No.
The other day, he was getting frisky, right? So we're sitting there and I'm stalling for time and I'm pushing it, right? So he's leaning his head into me and I'm leaning into him.
Wrestling back.
And I'm probably doing like some, prodding him on in some bull way to, oh, you want to push against me? I'll push against you.
That's how they play.
Right. So I'm out there and I'm doing my best, but this is a 1,000-pound animal. And I'm trying to use every little, like a keto technique you can come up with to redirect that energy. So as he puts it into me, he's stumbling forward and I'm pushing in and spinning on him and making him keep doing that. So it was fun. I like him. He's my bro. He's my bro.
Well, it's a good thing that he's so far a good bull. And that means he gets to have a good life here at PCM Farm.
Yeah, what can he be upset about? He gets more food than anyone because he takes everyone's food, and he's got a harem
He's
of
not
chicks.
a gentleman.
And he's got a harem of girls.
Yeah,
He's got like no problems right now.
none. So Todd said, well, if crazy is a thing, I'm going to be trying to put the geography to the test with a mini orchard and don't have deer fence up yet and playing with multiple hardy citrus crosses. Good luck to that.
Good luck to that, Todd. Let us know. I would love to have an orchard on property. One of the things that when we build our church here is you always have a parking problem, right? Parking is always a challenge with churches. And what I can see is some of our field I'd like to do apple trees or fruit trees and park cars in the rows so that we can do it that way. That way it's not another ugly parking lot.
Yeah, we don't want an ugly.
We don't
It'll
want
be
an
very
ugly
sad
parking
to
lot.
see that field turned into. So yeah, I think needs something that still could have that land be producing. It's such a waste to have just a parking lot.
Yeah. So, well, the great thing is we only have like 10 people who come to church right now. So parking isn't a problem.
They will come. They will come. It's been a week.
It was so
guys.
heartbreaking. It's Memorial Day, like our day as a church, like the identity of our church. And it was you, B, Anya, and Charlie.
The girls made it through most of it, though. I've tried my best. I was like, I can't leave.
I was destroyed, man. I was utterly destroyed.
It was still a great sermon.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't think anyone got to hear it, but it was a good, it felt right.
I think you guys heard his sermon, right? Who listened?
Well, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up because I got to get up in the early morning to go to Chattanooga and pick up a milk machine. So I've already unloaded the 40 bags of mulch that I bought.
Yeah, for people, for races, anyone who's been here who's seen our horrible front patio, walkway, non-existent, whatever they were planning on doing. 1 year later, we're finally fixing it.
I know you did, Carol, and I
Yeah,
appreciated
Carol, you
your
listened.
feedback. It really made it all worth it. So
Steve. Yep, gravel rows. and
that's
fruit
exactly
trees.
what I'm thinking, Todd. I think it'd be beautiful, particularly in the flowering season.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll do horse cart rides or something.
Oh no, you're getting fancy. Okay.
I want to use this place for all it is.
with what horse?
Well, we'll figure it out.
Are
Maybe,
you-
maybe Solomon will start pulling a wagon.
Okay. 'Cause are you still thinking that we need a draft horse, or have you realized that
I would love a draft
farmers?
horse.
I am not.
Well, I think we need a draft horse for other reasons, but yeah, I don't want to do farming. I mean, we'll grow the easy stuff, but having all these animals and that
Yeah,
is
this
just-
year I was like, I'm not going to.
I don't have $150,000 or $200,000 in equipment yet to be good at farming to scale. Right, like right now we have neighbors that are helping us out with the tilling and the mounding and all the other.
Yeah, there are
processes.
some variations of how to garden that are not nearly as intensive. There's no-till gardening, and you can still strategically, with a lot of thought, you can produce a lot in a small amount of space. Sounds good, Todd.
Nectar plum. I'm all about plums. I like me some plums. As long as they're sweet, none of those bitter plums. Me and bitter don't get along too well.
Phil says, have fun and enjoy what you do. You guys are already anointed. Love you guys. Blessings and all that you do.
We love
Thank
you
you,
too,
Phil.
brother. All right, everyone. That's going to be enough for us tonight. God bless you. I'll see you Sunday for another service. And see you back again on Monday for Bible study. All right. That's all we got for you.
Good night, guys. Happy weekend.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Oh, I'm out. Oh, I got to.